So hello. The last episode was very well received, very popular amongst our previous episodes, where I have my friend Dr. Daniel over talk about his move to Singapore and comparing Malaysia and Singapore. But this time we also have another special guest, our second guest of our podcast, my good friend from Sabah, Jimmy, to join us. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I also have my mom and dad on this. I think my sister is busy with work, and my the niece is also busy at work. So it's just four of us today. But anyhow, this is a Malaysia Day special because Malaysia Day is in a few days. So we have Jimmy from Sabah with us, and who is a good friend of mine. I met in Sabah and really miss him in Sabah, and now that I'm here. So we got him on our
we miss you
podcast.
too, bro.
So yeah, thanks for coming, Jimmy.
Thank you. Been looking forward for this for quite some time, and well done. I think you've done a marvelous job. To
Thank
let
you.
outsider know your professions, how tough is it, and then a lot of interesting, meaningful discussions. Really appreciate what you do and what you have done for Sabah. For I think 8 years, Sabah is in many ways are lag behind in infrastructures and also
Mm.
medical facilities and medical personnel as well. Thank you for your service
Oh,
from
thank you.
from.
No, I'm just a small part of the health ministry machinery there, but I had a good time. Yeah, you guys were very hospitable. Sabah was like a home away from home, so it's a very special place in my heart, Sabah. So that's why
Yeah,
I always
we
miss
really
Sabah.
really adore the brother and sister here and from our local. Really adore you and you and Dennis.
So yeah, I also understand that. I think for my mom and dad's benefit, I think I know that for a fact that you just came back from a trip to West Malaysia to Penang, my home. So yeah, tell us about that. How was Penang?
Yeah, so sad academic job in Penang, but it's learning a new culture in Penang because I recall. I think my last trip was 7 years ago, and it was very rushed. Oh, but everything on the Penang visit is all about food. But this time, I able to explore the cultural side of it, and even for the food list is also surprised. And so first of all, of course, the routine that we have in mind is that we go to Penang, we must try the local delicacy, chao kway teow, asam laksa. Yeah, that's in my mind. But I was quite surprised. There's actually quite a lot of expat there, and then you have a lot of genuinely very nice Western cuisine, French cuisines, pastry, bakery shops. In no when I we was my girlfriend and I was there, and then we were trying to see what can we have. Outside the normal routine of local breakfast, we want to try Western breakfast. Then we just open up Google. There are almost near to 20 very good quality Western cafe, with a pastry, very nice pastry, and very well renovated. And yeah, it's in the 6, 7 at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then we can just easily breeze our walk there, and then not very hot, no traffic, and then just enjoy shop. No, we just hop shop to shop like coffee drinking is souvenir shops and some with art. Yeah, it's very nice, and every corner is filled with just not just food, but very strong culture, which I think kudos to the Penang government. Really, guys, really bring that up and really embrace it, and yeah, and
Ah.
especially the Peranakan cultures. Now,
Price wise, is it more expensive or more reasonable than KL or Sabah? The Western food
Auntie, I
you were
think
saying?
you asked the wrong question. I think because Sabah living cost is very expensive. So for
Mm.
us, it's like
Mm.
we when we're there, like, oh, so cheap. Its food is so good. Because I think you know that our food here, the standard. I think the only thing we are good here is that the fish. The fish is very, our seafood is very fresh, and then so we are quite good in seafood noodles, something all related to seafood. But in terms of like uh, 焗炒 chao kway teow,
Uh,
Hokkien mee and things like that. Of course, Penang,
But
especially asam laksa, you cannot have. It's very
mm,
so hard to find asam laksa here in KK, and then to find a good one is nearly impossible. Then,
yeah,
and also as
it,
curry laksa as well.
It's more
It's
Sarawak,
not a
right?
Sabah Jimmy.
Laksa.
Our laksa is a more Sarawak
Free.
laksa, Borneo side laksa. Is yeah. So we don't have much popiah here as well. The popiah and it's also you have crab meat, soft skins popiah. We only have fried popiah here. Very hard to find a soft skin popiah. Yeah, the food is just for from a Sabah standard is cheap here. Yeah, that's a problem with Sabah, which we can discuss later. I mean, a lot of things are
So
here.
I think
Just a
Yeah, but
question,
it's
Jimmy.
Mm.
Just a question. From the last time you have been to Penang or Georgetown 7 years ago until now versus now, do you notice any remarkable changes or anything?
yes, the Gurney Drive. I felt that a lot of inside Georgetown, at least a lot of effort trying to revitalize the old buildings, try to mimic the Singapore way. The only thing I can make in comparison is Singapore, there where the old traditional houses, the heritage houses are all revitalized and make it turn it into a very nice restaurants and shop and things like that. I'm seeing a lot of effort being put into that by the governments. Yeah, but not all of them, because the area is, I was surprised, is quite big as well. So not all of them are revitalized, but here and there are more and more shops. Definitely more vibe, more booming, and then more foreigners on the street. Just walk. In Georgetown itself, if you don't need to drive, just walk. Just spend 3 days, just walk around there, because everything is within reach. It's just good enough now.
How
Yeah.
do you find the do you use public transport to get around, or is it a Grab or what?
It just grabbed then. So I think the public transport, we managed to avoid the peak hours, but we try to walk as much as we can because we enjoy just sightseeing by walking and just instead of just hopping to one place another place. The pedestrian can do much better, but the general vibe is mini you and there. Even the hotel I'm saying is an Airbnb, is beside Georgetown.
Townhouse.
The Spice Hotel. Is recommended by one of the trip advisors. So inside it is, I think we are the only Asians. The rest are all foreigners from Spain and Italy and things like that. And one or two Chinese.
So how do you find the city of Georgetown versus Kota Kinabalu? No, do you feel at home?
At home?
No, because you're coming from the other side of East Malaysia, at the very eastern front, which is Kota Kinabalu, right? But then Penang is on West Malaysia, Georgetown. So I mean, comparison of Kota Kinabalu against Georgetown, Penang.
Or against KL.
Oh, against KL.
But Jimmy was born in Malacca.
Yes, I was born in Malacca, but I'm raised in Sabah. I only travel back during Chinese New Year and Ho Chi Minh. So yes, I'm quite familiar with the Peranakan culture, the food. We draw similar. Yes, Penang do reminds me of home in terms of foods and the architectures, like the Jonker Street in Malacca. But Malacca. But in comparison to Sabah, it's Sabah is different things. I think Sabah is more nature. So you can see back behind me is the Mount Kinabalu and things like that. So so it's really Sabah is all about nature. Now, one of the best diving site. We are just right in front of the seashore. We can go diving just taking 20 minutes boat drive, and then you go to Mount Kinabalu in just 2 hours. If you like outdoor, I mean, it's Sabah is surreal. That it's really, you have endless of activities can be done here. But Penang side is more, and the culture, the heritage culture is in Sabah, and is the local Kadazan and Dusun is a totally different cultures from Peranakan. It's a bit hard to draw a apple to apple comparison, but each of itself is quite unique in its own way. Then, but Penang is more heritage, because Penang is not only Peranakan heritage, the culture itself. You have strong influence of British. It's like West meets the East. And then you have the Dr. Sun Yat-sen, there a lot of museum, a lot of footsteps, because he was raising money for the Kuomintang last time to overthrow the Qing dynasty that time. So a lot, if you really follow history, there's a lot of tracks to learn that, and it's a point of where the East must meet the West. It's very very interesting to see. Even the Peranakan culture itself, it's quite unique. Oh yeah, kudos to the Peranakan Museum in Penang. I think they did a very good job preservations. How the life were back then, and golden handbag, golden golden spectacles, and things, and then very luxuriously. And then culture, we have steel pillar from the Dutch, and then the windows, the tiles from the Dutch. Then you have Chinese architectures and then with furniture. So it's a quite unique blend with the Malay as well. So it's like 3 or 4 cultures which uniquely blended together, and which each of them are still can retain their uniqueness in their own way. For example, like US, right? You have a lot of Spanish, Westerners, Irish, everyone there, right? But somehow when you become Americans, you lost some of the uniqueness of your own culture. Then. So like you've been
assimilated,
terraformed. But here somehow we still manage to not blend together, but not still retain our uniqueness there. I think the best way to describe it is the Peranakan Museum House, then, where you can see strong influence of the West gowns and handbags for the parties, but you still have the traditional food and traditional costumes, kebaya, and also the cheongsam, and still retain the Chinese wedding cultures. Yeah, just quite unique.
Okay, I asked a question just now, Shane, to Jimmy, was that how do you feel at home comparing Kota Kinabalu and Georgetown? Because it drives us to the first topic of your podcast, right? That we wanted to know from Jimmy how he feels of being a Malaysian. So I kind of driving that point gradually to the direction of how you feel of being a Malaysian. Yeah.
So
sorry, I try to keep it short.
No, just feel free, because just feel free to say how.
We'd like to hear your perspective. Yeah.
Because I think what you said about Sabah and Penang, right? I think I agree. I think what I feel also as a Penangite is that Penang has its strong points. I think like what you're trying to say is Penang was such a historical place. Not to say KK or Sabah is less historical. It is, I guess. But Penang, Georgetown, right, and Penang itself is such a culturally and historically super rich and concentrated in a few spots. Every street there has some significant landmark, and a lot of things happen here and there, that played a part in the global history, like Sun Yat-sen and everything. I think that part was unique to Penang, no doubt. KK, I see the town is a smaller town than Penang, obviously, but like you said, I think KK, when we go into it later, let's talk about the difference between West Malaysia, East Malaysia. I think KK's beauty is the nature. You're having everything: beaches, mountain, history, culture, food, everything in one place. For me, that's what I feel about Sabah. Since we are going to go back to rediscover this topic in a different aspect, apart from the food and the culture, but also of the goods and the bads of West and East Malaysia. But I think let's because this is a Malaysia Day topic, I like to take this chance to go into the topic. So all of us are Malaysians here, right? 4 of us. Today's podcast is so happens that because we are close friends, so we can have a discussion this time. That's why we got Jimmy on board. So first question for all of us. What is it like for you being Malaysian? Anyone can say anything? Yeah.
I think you let Jimmy talk more, because we did that in our National Day.
Our National Day. That is careful. Not National Day. That is Merdeka Day. Is actually West Malaysia, Peninsula Malaysia Day. Let's be very sensitive about this, because I think it's correct.
Yeah,
it's incorrect.
The Bonians are a bit sensitive about this.
Good point. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for being sensitive on this. And first of all, of course, I do feel very proud. I mean, I do travel quite a bit. At least the major, not many countries, but at least all the continents. But I still found that Malaysia is very comfortable, very open up to new ideas. With the global tensions around the world, I mean, seeing things from Malaysian point of view, I think it's a bit more interesting.
To tie into it, I mean, we are in a very special position in a time in the history of our country, tying to the news as well. Recently, I read some news as well that Malaysia Anwar did have a good chat and things to say about Putin. Malaysia has his very unique stance on all those friends with both sides of the West and the East and all that. We don't go into all that, but I agree with you that we are in a quite comfortable position that we are friends with everybody, not really enemies with many people, but friends with both sides, politically at least. Like you said, when you go traveling, right? Like when I am working here, right, in the UK, Like when people ask me where you're from, I mean, you don't say that I'm Chinese, right? You don't say that. You literally never think about saying that you're Chinese. Even when I go to not in UK, anywhere I travel, you always say I'm Malaysian and I'm proud to be Malaysian, right? And there's still a sense of pride in being Malaysian. Do you feel that, guys? I mean, mom and dad or Jimmy, do you feel proud being
Are you
Malaysian?
sure after the on MDB, are you sure you feel proud?
Proud.
But
No, I
for Jimmy case is special because he was born in Peninsula. Then
uh,
he grew up in Sabah. So how does he feel? I mean, does he also feel really offended if you say 31st August is National Day?
Part of it, not really offended. Sorry, like, it's more in the sense that Sabah and Sabah the Bonians have been contributing a lot to the federal coffers. Well, who knows that? No, in when he's here. So our infrastructures is really way behind Peninsula lah. So I think that's the sense. No, after joining Malaysia for so many years, well, Sabah is still the poorest state in Malaysia.
Yep.
And then, although we are so rich with resources, we contribute so much to the federal coffer. We don't even have proper roads, electricity and water, even in city areas. So, but that's not that also go back. This is a very long topic. They also go back to the leadership of the states, where no, but it's not all a Peninsula fault as well. It's also in comparison, Sabah and Sarawak governments also you can see a very very strong, very stark difference where the governments in Sarawak, the Sarawak governments can get more things done, and then yeah, it's also boiled down to the political sentiments and the political wisdoms of the Sabah leaders.
Yeah. So I think pertaining to that, right, I was just watching a video which I recommend everyone to watch. It's this podcast called Good Cast Show, I think. It's with they interviewed Datuk Joe Sabahan from Labuan actually, and I will share with you all after this. I was watching it and he was going through. He wrote a book about this, and I think it's a very good interview at least. That he mentioned that of course it's actually he seems to think that yeah, it is actually the fault of the Peninsula leaders, especially Tun M lah, Tun Mahathir lah,
Mm.
because of he's very open, talks about it openly that the project IC that Tun Mahathir brought UMNO over to Sabah and had people, and apparently UMNO's biggest uh state with number of members, number one is Selangor and KL, right? Second one is apparently Sabah. So he thinks that possibly there has been a role of Project IC and everything that changed Sabah and weakened Sabah so that Sabah can be controlled by federal more. That's what was mentioned in the episode. And Sarawak is stronger because they block up the federal political parties from going in. So I think there's a backdrop of that towards the scene, I think.
But maybe partly it's also true, but if if you're really following the Sabah politics, it's but sadly to say that Sabah politicians are very easily swayed. So those I think the strongest opposition the oppositions that we have is under Parin Ketingan. I even forget the party number again. Yeah.
Quite confusing
Yeah.
actually,
But
Sabah.
yes, but now they all have joined to the federal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit quite easy. Quite easy. Another thing is Sabahan is in the Indian they are quite poor. So they are also quite easily swayed as well. Then
Yeah.
it's just multiple problems that comes together.
Yeah. So I
And
think
then a bit sad to say, I think Sabah politicians are lack of some principle as well. So no, if you ask me, I don't know who is opposition now. Then so the opposition here, the only under Shafi Waisan is at the state at the federal levels in the parliament as well, and then DAP and them they used to work with DAP, but now DAP them all we hang up with Sabah UMNO, and so at some point I also know is there any opposition party left? Because it seems like they're all working together. Then in the Sabah Parliament, there's not much voice. No one is championing them and questioning them and holding them. Yeah, so it's a bit confusing in Sabah.
I think the political scene is really bad, lah. But I think
do they feel the Malay influence getting stronger in Sabah?
We definitely feel stronger, but the roots I don't think will be something similar to the northern peninsula. What we're seeing in the northern state. Will not happen in Sabah and Sarawak. We are still at the roots. We are still very tolerating and we're still very open minded and we also trying very hard to protect our ways of life and then so anything over extremes and not fit into we have a very strong identities of our cultures and our way of living for Borneans. So I don't think what's happening in Peninsula now, especially on the northern side, will repeat itself in Sabah.
Hopefully not. And we hope that the Sabah and Sarawak influence will be more in Peninsula instead of Malaysia influence Sabah, Sarawak. The East Malaysia should influence.
Don't be surprised because I also read something. There's a Merdeka survey run. They especially target the youth. The youth have no problem. We have not race dominant party than who run the country. They are more open to a party which is have mixed races. As long as they can govern the country in the right way, then
I see.
I think
because
we can give some hope to the youth lah. Not. I think they are with the information ChatGPTs and AI. I think they are not so easy manipulated.
You mean the youth in East Malaysia or West Malaysia?
The Merdeka survey is targeted to according to the populations of mainly is comprised of entire Malaysia. I think mainly is from West Malaysia.
But then now they want to make all restaurant that doesn't serve pork and alcohol as halal.
I'm not sure, but I think no matter how religious you are, but at the end of the day, you still have to put food on the table. Then, as long as anyone who screw up the economy, right? I think that who's the leading government's leading party, you have to go. Now a lot of reflections back on why Najib fell in the first place. Mainly, right? Actually, I read some articles. Actually, non-Malays want to take Najib down because of the 1DB corruptions and mainly, but the Malay also that time also overwhelmingly want to overthrow BN is also because of it's GST, the hike is pushing up the cost of living going up there, and then they this is from the Kari the Sekolah Sekejap channel. Now Kari replied back, and then the Malay also link back the cost of the GST to 1DB because you need to cover up the debt of 1DB. That's why you have to implement GST. I cannot put food on my table. It's no matter how religious is it, you have to go then. And we are seeing BN UMNO won their seats in Kelantan area.
Yeah, the Negeri.
Kelantan, Negeri. Kelantan, because I think the past government they screw up the water issue there. So
water issue.
I think eventually if you really screw things up, then you have to pay the cost. I think so far I'm reading it that way.
So I think I don't know whether the Merdeka survey that you're talking about, Jimmy, about the nationally the youth are actually open to multiracialism and all that, because I seem to be getting a different vibes from the previous election that PN and the PAS is gaining a lot of foothold. That's the main usual narrative that people say. And also we also have like moderate open intellectuals like Prof. Tajuddin. I really like watching his YouTube. This Malay professor in architecture, Islamic architecture, is very open. He seems to be worried as a Malay in Peninsular Malaysia. He seems to be worried from his recent videos that he thinks that PAS is gaining more stronghold and foothold in the youth because they had foresight. They planned ahead long time ago. they built up all these tadikas, all this, like, from kindergarten up to their tafi school that uh, has trained a generation of very conservative Islam kind of brand of population in Malaysia, and that's what explains the recent rise in the green wave, so-called green wave in Peninsula. That's what he thinks lah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just trying to see things from a different perspective. Now, maybe sometimes if we can see from different angle, we can more than just one answer then, or at least I try to encourage myself to do so then. So I gave you a reason survey as well. The reason the birth rates of each state then. So Malaysia is apparently we are an aging country. So the only three states which is producing enough new birth to replenish the aging population, Kelantan, Terengganu, and Pahang. Yeah, it may be a bit fair to traditionally we may say because they are more bumi and certain because religious, so they have more offspring than. But if you visited, I was with my girlfriend visiting back to Kuantan, and we traveled to Terengganu, and then and if you are a bumi in Terengganu and Kelantan, for you to get a house, a property is quite cheap then. Is yeah, you can really afford it. But of course that they make it a bit hard for the non-bumis to buy a home. So the properties for non-bumi in Terengganu and Kelantan are more expensive then.
Oh, so
and guess what? Yeah, traditionally, right, you would think that so the poorest should be the poorest state, right? Have the most highest birth rate, right? Guess who has the lowest birth rate in Malaysia then?
I
Sabah.
think. Oh, really? Sabah.
Sabah have the lowest birth rate. I this is my own interpretations, can be wrong. I would like to but I read some when this news is out, I read some of the comments from Sabah. Yeah, I mean, immediately the people response because the high expenses. Not housing property prices are on par with KL. I mean, like central KL in
Urban property lah.
downtown landed terrace house will cost you close to 1 million now. If you not in downtown center but in the CBD. So the living expenses here are quite high. Then I also don't know why we have so much land. It just I think mainly because of the poor infrastructure. So everyone tend to want to live in that concentrate area where everything, all the facilities and infra is within reach. Then.
Yeah.
So my point is if the people are well taken care of, so there's a reason behind why this Kelantan, Terengganu, and they have it's been ruling by certain parties for so long. I think part of it they the thing that people there are quite well taken care of, because if you have confidence, if you're living if you're comfortable, then you have more confidence to deliver more babies in the modern times.
But that's my question, you see. When I went to, I mean, maybe our definition of comfort and development is different from those who are in Kelantan and Terengganu majority. Maybe that's why they keep voting in the same past government into Kelantan for ages, despite being one of the most poorest in Malaysia. But there must be something that
Forest is always Borneo, Sabah and Sarawak.
True. I mean, in West Malaysia,
it's not their turn yet.
In West Malaysia at least lah, right? Kelantan is obviously one of the poorest, and certain sexual crime statistics are also quite high in Kelantan and all. But the people seem to be voting in past all over and over again for so many years. There must be something they're doing right, So I agree that Kelantan isn't that bad. When you go there, it's actually livable lah, but it's not, obviously it's not KL or Penang in that sort of urban development in our interpretation lah.
Yeah. Maybe in terms of economic activities, at the end, these people don't, in Buddhism, we're always trying to define, what is happiness. Now, happiness can be a lot of definitions to many people. If they are happy, then what to say?
Yeah.
At least what I see, based on my observation, they at least solve the housing. Nowadays, a lot of people in mainland China, Korea, and Japan, also one of the no, they just give up on marriage and delivering babies because they cannot afford home.
Yeah.
Home is about they need to use about 40 to 50 years to pay off the loan, and then have to borrow their money from their parents and all their relatives just to pay the down payment. Then, so whether who bothered to in that kind of situation, who bothered to have family, to set up families then?
I'm just curious. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just curious because in general, overall, government is already giving 10% discount to the houses, new houses or whatever for the Bumis. You mean in Terengganu, Kelantan, and Pahang, on top of the 10% discount, they have more discounts, or when you say it's
No,
much cheaper?
the land you just cannot transact to non-Bumi.
Uh-huh. But you say
native
they,
land. It's just like in Sabah. lah. So because sorry to say this, because more of many, like what we see all around the world is many is that the foreigners and the locals, rich people who jack up the price. If you said that the land only been transferred to a certain race,
So
and then if the race are poor, then you
so wait,
said,
in
follow the
Sabah,
moderation.
so you're saying that in Sabah, how does it work again? So the land belonging to Bumi.
Yeah, native land is we call it anti land. So in Sabah land title, you have native land and CL land. So the native land you cannot sell to you cannot sell it to non-Bumi.
Non-Bumi lah. So not even foreigner lah. Even in Malaysian, you cannot sell to like maybe like non-Bumi. Okay. Yeah, memang got lah. I know that. But even in Peninsula also got such native land, right? I'm sure. Wakaf or something, I don't know, native land or Bumi
no.
land.
Let's say I'm okay. I sell it to a developer who's a native. Then the developer build houses. They build condos. They can't sell the condos to non-Bumi also.
No, there's some
Yeah, only
enactment
for
in the no, there's some enactment in Kelantan.
Daddy?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the audio. No, I'm not sure about my audio. Is it okay?
Can. I can
yeah.
hear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's some enactment in Kelantan. I'm not sure about Terengganu that you take a second or third generation of non-Bumi, then you can buy land. It's all the while in the state law already. Let's say, for example, if I were to go and stay in Kelantan, I got to be there for second or third generation. Then only I can buy land.
I'm not talking about buying land. I'm not talking about
buying land
land
to build houses, a freehold, etc. So there is some control there. In that respect, all the while has been there, kind of because land is a state matter, not a federal matter. So the state government enacts certain laws.
Yeah, I understand.
Right?
That is
and
landed
Kelantan,
property.
and I can't remember the triangle included. It's already there. Yeah.
Mom is saying that
property.
let's say developer is Bumi, buy
I don't know
the
about
condo.
owning property. Is it land of owner? I'm not too sure whether it applies to strata title. I know it's owning property, land, yeah. But right lah. But what about leasehold land? No, I'm not too sure of that.
So Jimmy, let's say
There's some control
tanah native land is a Bumi buy the property, develop a condo. So the whole condo cannot sell to non-Bumi. That's the question, right, Mom? Essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, if I read correct, but anyway, every different state have a different state law then. So we have a Sabah land, which is different from. At least my point is cut it short is that the homes. I try to encourage myself to see more from different perspective. What I find it, as to say, they must have done something right. What can I observe that homes are more affordable for Bumi. For Bumi,
so that's why they support lah. In their interest, it's good lah.
Yeah, and if you pick up, like paying loans for home, for 30 years, I mean that pull up a lot of stress. You see. Imagine, no, we all have housing loan to pay. If you can take
So,
that off, peace of mind. I mean, yeah.
yeah. So, so for
So
example,
back to
so
our
topic,
Mm.
which is
which is
this is a very typical Malaysian. Every time we talk about Malaysian issues, we always whack lah. What's the problem in Malaysia? But I think Jimmy, let's give credit to Jimmy because Jimmy is trying to paint a positive picture here that says that let's look at the positive side. There must be something that they're doing right. That's why they keep voting in, those Perikatan Nasional whatever government, right?
and
That's
and
why.
yeah, and in Kedah, right, the cooling Kedah is also for the past now, and then the cooling
Mm,
part industry part, right, they're doing quite
mm,
well there. They managed to
yeah.
pull a lot of FDI there as well.
So
So
yeah.
so so yeah,
So
we yeah we
Sanusi, despite marrying two wives recently, good for him. Congratulations, Sanusi. Datuk Seri Sanusi, if you're listening to this podcast, congratulations. So you must be doing something right also for Kedah.
yeah. I mean, I try to see it on a more reasonable way lah. I mean,
Hmm.
I try to I'm not sure my observation is right, but yeah, as long you can, if you don't screw up economy, people can live comfortably and happily. Yeah,
I suppose
yeah.
same thing with
I think
Bhutan.
that's a
Bhutan is it's not developed, but they're happier. It's not they have to
mm,
develop into a developed country, but they're
Hmm.
happiest country. Maybe there's the same thing that's happening in
That,
Kelantan.
that's what I'm worried about for Malaysia. So we're talking about hiring Malaysia, right? I think I'm just worried whether, is there we're pushing the narrative further apart. The non-Burmese idea of development of a developed Malaysia is this, I don't know, like multiracial, whatever, GDP very high, good income, everything. But the other side is that the other side of the political divide is that no, we want a more religious or more, but not necessarily economically developed. So there's two narratives, two different dreams of Malaysia in 2050 that we have. So when you have these two competing different dreams, I wonder if that will be quite difficult to achieve that, to go towards that goal. So that's the thing.
yeah. I in that sense, I agree and disagree with you.
Mm,
You have to find the common blocks, the common
mm,
ground on these two extremes. And I mean, because that from a grassroots levels, of course, everyone wants affordable homes, low living costs, stable
mm,
job. I think
mm,
that's the foundation basics.
mm.
Without delivering that, all this
True,
you want to
true.
be more religious or want to be more higher
Mm,
GDP, more technical. That
mm.
is just fantasy. If you cannot solve this basic bread
True.
and butter
So
issues.
so the middle ground is cost of living go up, and then RM appreciate. Everybody wants that, regardless of which side you're on, right? So everybody wants that, lah.
Yes, regardless which side, as long you can put the GDP might be reason. Yeah, if
Mm,
it
mm,
yeah, the GDP might be very good, or even though the you have FDI, a lot of FDI coming, but if it cannot be translated into day to
yeah,
day
yeah,
living. I'm not
yep,
seeing it.
yeah, yeah.
What's wrong? What's the meaning of blue chips? The KLS hitting record high. The
Yeah, of
blue
course.
chip is the Naga is selling at the. There's not related to me. I don't see it. Then.
So
But at least
so
you have
I
yeah. At least you have to see, let them yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
I
lah,
sorry. Go on.
agree with
concrete lah.
Jimmy. I agree with Jimmy
Yeah.
because
Mm,
you look at Kelantan and you look at Kedah. Kedah Sanusi, for example, we look at him as a somebody who's always speaking certain extreme narrative. But I agree with Jimmy in the sense that from a political point of view, most important is politicians can relate to the people, put food on the table, address
mm,
certain perennial issues, then they will support the politician. On the other bad side of the politician, of course, is that from other perspective, forget about justice, forget about equality, forget about all these high level things. To,
mm.
to, to the people of Kedah, for example, and to the simple people of Kelantan, they want to see politicians can relate to them, settle the day-to-day issues for them, except
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
water lah. Settle, put food on the table, cost of living, etc. Then they align to you. Whereas
So
the urban people in Penang or in cities, etc., look at more on justice, look at more equality, and all these things. But the other part of it, they look at it differently. That's why some politicians manage to survive because they thrive on such matters.
yeah, and I totally agree because I think sometimes, especially the non-boomies, they are a lot of times on the high horse, like, oh, you know what, we want to fight corruption, we want this, this, this. That's because you already got food to eat 3 meals a day. You can buy a nice terrace house. Of course, you don't care about other things. You want to fight for this higher, actualization principle kind of stuff. But you're not on the ground where there's a village folk who's poor, no food to eat, everything. So I agree. Sometimes we have to get off a high horse, come down, and actually don't be so pushy and so I think the point of this politician sometimes is they are just trying to get attention, and they're just trying to stay relevant and remain in limelight. So I think as non-boomies, right, I think considering today this is Malaysia Day and all, I think non-boomies also have a role to play because sometimes I feel that as a non-boomie, you feel very helpless. Like I cannot say anything. Like whatever the halal certification, look what that trouble got Teresa got into. I never want to comment on such thing because that's your thing. We don't want to talk about it. Because anytime we skirt anywhere near anything about the 3R, obviously, you're scared. You shouldn't talk. Go to jail, go police. So I think we have to accept, maybe somehow, accept the reality. It is what it is, like that. We stay away from those. We just focus on economy side and our own stuff and try not to fall into the trap of reacting, giving that reaction that past certain religious leaders want out of the minority. We shall refrain from giving them the reaction and the attention they want. Just don't care. Ignore them. When they say we extremistic, don't care. Try not to give them reaction. Maybe then it will less incite the common folk who see, oh, I see, oh no, the minority are trying to reclaim our right, want to take our go against our religion. Don't give in to that trap. Don't. Just keep quiet. Shut up. Be a good citizen and just, you know, maybe that's what the non-boomy should do, I think.
But I would say that there's two sides of the coin. On one side, I think that's the right thing to do. We don't want to fall into the trap of giving certain comments that will be used against us, etc. But on the other hindsight, if too much passiveness, then the other party may take as weakness and it become more and more extreme.
Oh, and then it leads to like Nazi Germany and the Jews lah, because no one
Yeah,
said
because
anything
it goes
lah.
to more and more extreme because the
So I
more quiet you
guess
are, the more passive you are, they take advantage.
Yeah.
So there comes a certain point of
So-
time whereby certain parties seem to say certain things, then stop there. Make your point, then stop it, then move on already.
So I
Don't
think
keep on
when
drumming it and give ammunition.
yeah, and I think
So
that's
I would say that you have got to say certain point where it strikes, then stop it. Know where to stop and when to stop.
yeah. Yeah, lor. When certain civil rights and individual rights certain red lines are crossed, then I think that cannot be accepted. But don't be too sensitive about it lah.
Yeah, I think one should go back. I don't want to deviate from the topic too much, but one should go back to the constitution. As long as we avoid the 3R, as long as you quote as long as certain people infringe on the supremacy of law from the constitution side, say it because you have the law behind you. Then stop it and forget about it already.
Okay.
Make your point known, stop it, and
Yep.
don't go into the 3R. Then I think we should be okay. I think that should be the approach minority groups in Malaysia should take lah.
So I think that
I would think be the smart way.
So to drive it back to our point today, since we have Jimmy from East Malaysia and West Malaysia, do you feel that compared to 20 years ago lah, maybe from your side as a Sabahan or as a Malaysian, in fact, do you feel that our country our country is more patriotic than before, or is there less patriotism, that less proud to be Malaysian nowadays, 20 years later, compared to 20 years before?
How to say, if you put it, depends on which angle of perspective of this. Definitely, I can say that Malaysia nowadays are more vocal in political views. More vocal because of the multimedias and of course there's some improvement in relax. Of course, there are much improvements in compared to the draconian style of the media law back then. So we can be more expressive now. But that also draw into some trouble as well. So if you're from that sense, I think we are more patriotic because we are more it seems like we involve more. We are more alert on the political arena. What's good for our country's futures. I think I definitely see more youth of participations. During my times, I hardly read news, and then I not very aware and sensitive about the political and who's who. But I think more and more younger people are interested in that.
I think the social media also is a very downside, but I think it's not unique to Malaysia. It's all over the world. It has driven polarization, right? Because last time don't have social media, but now social media. So like Facebook, YouTube, it only shows you what you like to watch, right? So you become more and more extreme lah. So if you feel like you're anti certain group, then more and more things keep coming out to make you reinforce that, you know what, I am anti them, more reasons to anti them. So I think social media and the media itself also like to report certain things. I feel like they should be held accountable also. Certain mainstream media, they like to report things like, Malay driver whacked a Chinese driver at a road rage accident. I feel like some of them like to share all this kind of stuff in media to get more readers. So I think they have to be held accountable. They shouldn't be doing all these things. So I think there's a fault on the media as well on doing that.
Well, I think in the KJ, the career I also discussed this because we have, as Malaysia is a multiracial country. We have, yes, although we have multiracial colleagues and things like that, but we still lack a bit more on touching points, to like a platform to discuss or openly discuss with a right-minded tolerance to discuss all these issues. So if we have more, I think Malaysians are also not too stupid, so easily influenced as well. I think they have some independent critical thinking as well. It's just we don't have much the touching points, and then when we meet our friends and colleagues, we try to avoid this issue. We don't talk about it.
That's true.
So I think if we have more touching points, I think we can see a lot of common grounds. Basically, we're all after the same thing. Is we all want Malaysia to be success, to be progressive, to grow. True. It's just that there's so many medias that fill in fill the flames, and try to politicians try to divide us. I mean, just as normal Malaysians, we have no problem. Olympic already show. We all our badminton teams, hardly any Bhumis, but everyone rooted for them. We all shouted all our heart out and yell out and almost suffered a heart attack from the game.
I think the social media thing, I'd like to comment on that. Two things. Number one is social media has got to be held accountable, especially if they sensationalize certain things and they drum up certain things. It cannot be a free press like in the US, free for all. The democracy is not free for all. So it has to be controlled. So social media there should be something whereby the press or the media can be held responsible if they sensationalize it. Number two is also evolution of the social media. You see the past administration, Mahathir administration, etc. All of them got away with a lot of things because there were no social media then. There's only the what they call the newspapers, all controlled, etc. Last time there were no so much alternative media for people to use. So now everything is all transparent. Everything is all shown. Everybody gets it. So the previous administration, the Barisan National Administration or TM Mahathir's administration, got away with a lot of things because there were not widespread usage of social media. There's a transformation then. I would say that as a result, you can see that now people are more conscious, yes, and also people has an avenue or channels to highlight certain things. And certain things you just cannot keep the lid there and keep it quiet. Last time, they get away with it because it's only the mainstream media that's giving all the news. So the evolution of the social media impacts our transition also.
Okay.
And on patriotism, you asked me, yes, I was patriotic, but during the time of 1MDB, I'm as quiet as the church mouse because I'm very ashamed that we had certain administration things that we did. Then later on, when justice is done and corrective actions are taken, then I'm proud to be a Malaysian again. so I can safely wear my t-shirt with a Malaysia flag. No, but that time when I must admit like, that time when one MDB, I kept on my t-shirt. I did not wear anything in Malaysia flag because people ask you, you're Malaysian, your prime minister is a thief. I did not say anything, so I keep a very low profile. But now that corrective action has been done, I feel to be proud of Malaysian, and more so now because I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but now that the Mandadi government has done certain things, our exchange rate has gone up. It seems to be that we are on the right track after 1 year plus of government. And people will feel more patriotic when there is food on the table, when prices are reasonable, etc. When we are struggling to make ends meet, food on the table, how to be patriotic when your tummy is hungry?
No, sometimes, I agree with you, Uncle, and I'm also quite ashamed with YMDB as well. But now looking back, maybe it's a good thing for our country as well. This YMDB happened. In a way, we have to thank Najib as well. Otherwise, there will no be change of government then.
Exactly.
And then all these anti-corruption. So at least the politicians now are very sensitive. Of course, yes, we don't like Muhyiddin. I mean, but he didn't. But you still let the court procedure to go on, and then directly he's the one who put the Pakatan Harapan make the charges, but I think he's under his hand or under our next prime minister hand. Yeah, Najib is official in jail then. So I think IMDb is a good example to set everyone straight then.
I think we all sounded, especially me, sounded quite pessimistic initially in this episode because we were backing the problems in Malaysia and everything. But yeah, I think 1MDB is a good thing that happened to our country. And I totally agree. Like my last episode, I spoke in BN. I said that we have to thank Najib because he is the Bapa Perpaduan Malaysia. In fact, you should consider him for a Gelaran title, Tan Sri or Tun or something, because he united everyone of different races to go down in yellow shirt and protest. So that was a good point where Malaysian actually united for a cause. So I think that's a good step up in Malaysia.
No. I sorry, I beg to differ. 1MDB is not a good thing to happen for Malaysia because it will take a few generations to go and recover. But we make the best out of it. No. We should correct it and say it's not a good thing to happen, but we make the best out of it, of the circumstances, number one. Number two, I beg to differ again that yes, I like to thank Najib for doing what he did. Without him, then the BN will still be in government. But I don't thank him for stealing our money.
Of course.
But I thank him for the direction that he made the realization of the people. And without him, then we will not have a unity government or Pakatan Harapan government. So we need to thank him for the right thing. But please don't give him an award for Perpaduan, Bapa Perpaduan. He doesn't deserve that. So we got to go for you must go for the right intention.
Yeah, that's also Najib.
Because if not, then his head will go bigger and he'll ask for pardon and he'll ask for a lot of other nonsensical things.
Dato' Sri Najib, if you're listening to this podcast, thank you for listening to us. That's good. So, okay. So we have to, lengthen this to, it's late into the night. I don't lengthen it too much. Let's just focus back and then try to wrap it up. But I think let's just zoom in on the next topic, which is, I think, those are the bad things to talk about. We also talk about the good things, that our democracy is maturing, right? We do have proper court system. We can show to the world that yes, our prime minister can be charged and can be sent to prison. I think that says a good big thing about Malaysia's democracy maturing. That's a good thing. So let's move to the good side. Like, what are you grateful for, Malaysia? And what are your dreams for Malaysia? What do you hope to see in Malaysia in your dream in 2050?
Maybe Uncle should start first.
I think I'm proud that for once Malaysian has spoken up in the past two elections, and Malaysia boleh. We never imagined that we could actually overthrow a government who has been in power for 60 years. Very good. So there's the right track, and I think there's more transparency, and I hope that these institutional reforms can be expedited so that whoever comes in to be the government of the day do not use the power incumbency, never again should we go back to those era of autocratic laws and whereby the executive is all powerful? They should go back to the three branches of government, the check and balances. So I hope the institutional reforms can be instituted fast. And also the other thing is that we are also restricted by this gerrymandering delineation exercise by law, that we need to wait for a few more years before we do that. So I hope that the government is the government of the day would be able to carry out the promises, and I think it augurs well for all of us. Number two, I'd like to highlight also that I'm very proud that East Malaysians, especially the Sarawak state government, has shown the way. They have been very vocal now, and I hope that one day maybe we can have a prime minister from Sarawak or Sabah
and Sabah
for the change. Yeah, because they have shown the way. It's good that they remind the government that the government of the day, or the MA63, the agreement and everything, right? And all the positive vibes that's coming from Sarawak, I think is good, and that can be, if the political situation can be gravitated to the Sarawak context, that will augur well for us. So I'm looking forward for East Malaysians to show the way on how to be Malaysian. That's my point.
I think coming to this, right, this point, I want to bring in another topic segue, which is actually relevant to why Jimmy is here, is that now, right, in West Malaysia previously, everyone keep talking about Malay, Chinese, Indian, and then they say Ketuana Melayu, this Malay owned the land. Now Sabah Sarawak has emerged and say that, you know what, don't forget about us. Don't forget about us, man. There are other Bumis, Kadazans, Muruts, everyone else that also has constitutional right to this land. I think that is a check and balance to the power struggle, I think, of the country. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, just put it in plain, is just that now anyone who wants to form a government, a ruling party, a ruling governments, you cannot without the states of Sabah and Sarawak.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you can say that we are the kingmaker. So hopefully that
but
you need.
But it's just that I'm that being said, right, the good part about it, right, I'm also slightly worried, because there's already so much division in Peninsula, religious, racial, everything. Then now there's this rising sentiment that, you know what, Sarawak for Sarawakians, Sabahan for Sabahans, and talks about secession and everything. So I don't know whether it will fracture. It remains to be seen. Hopefully not. Hopefully it unites us as a Malaysian instead of East versus West Malaysia is better. East Malaysia more united, West Malaysia always racist. I hope it doesn't go in that direction, but actually it becomes like, the multiculturalism actually gets imported to West Malaysia or some sort, and then we can learn from the good things from East Malaysia, hopefully.
I hope that will not become the case, but as I said, if everyone focus is just on the economy, on the day-to-day life, I cannot imagine, Terengganu, Sabah, Sarawak with all the oil and natural gas, with all these rich resources pulling out there. So I at the end of the day, you still need money from this state, which is generating a lot of income, like Penang and Johor. So everyone will try to pull everyone to back together. Okay. And Sabah, Philippines still haven't renounced their claim on Sabah. So if Sabah is declared independence, I foresee the next move will be Philippines try to invade Sabah and take it back. And then Indonesia will also leave. Sarawak leave Malaysia. Then we Malaysia have a war with Indonesia because of Borneo as well, and then Indonesia will try to claim back Sarawak. So I don't. Of course, everyone will be. And then I think it's just money problem lah. It's just all this while there's the focus developments all concentrated in KL side. I think the federal just have to take care of state.
I think the politicians should stop talking about history and try to change history lah. Because what you say is right lah. Philippines will claim Sabah, Indonesia will claim Sarawak, then Thailand will claim Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu, and Perlis. Then you never stop. So those people who say the word pendatang and all the history better stop all this nonsense. Because it will never stop. Then Singapore they will claim Johor, and when is it going to stop? So
Johor claim Singapore.
Johor claim Singapore.
Johor will claim Singapore. But the most dramatic thing is Thailand will claim Kelantan, Terengganu, Perlis, and Kedah.
Never ending lah.
And Kedah wants to claim Penang. Right, but I tell the Sanusi that if Kedah claims Penang, then Thailand will claim Kedah.
So I think it's never ending.
Exactly,
I
never
think
ending.
I think there's
So
some.
the thing is that the press plays a role. Do not publicize this because these politicians are trying to stay relevant. They have nothing to do. They cannot develop the place. Then they want to keep on arousing people's interest. This is unnecessary.
So
That's my point.
basically, in summary, is stop dwelling in the past. Please live in the future,
Move
guys.
forward because you
Move
cannot
forward.
change history. It's history.
You
It's
cannot change
history.
history.
Just move forward.
Move forward. Guys, Singapore has already far surpassed us long time ago. Now Vietnam also surpassing us. Indonesia already gonna surpass us, or if they haven't already. So if you're gonna have infighting in between yourself, you guys you guys are gonna suffer. That's the lesson to all Malaysians, right? If you want to fight amongst each other, you will be left behind and you'll become the really third world country in the future if you stop. But I think what Jimmy is trying to say, I think it's a good point. Money unites us all. So yeah, Dato Seri Najib.
Hey, don't, please don't put cash is king. Don't quote all these things. He's giving all the wrong intentions and all the wrong actions. But what Jimmy says is true, lah. What Jimmy says is true. Very important is that fix the economy, put on the table, then move on from there. Then people will support.
By the way, we already third world country lah. All our engineers or what lah are going to Singapore to become garbage handler. Not considered third world country.
That's true. Oh, that is one true factor.
But looking forward, Malaysia might be in a very good position now for the next few decades, because we know big economics like like Europe, China, even China and America, obviously they are steaming out. It's steaming out already. So the next big thing will be Southeast Asia, ASEAN together, combined together then.
I think we had a fruitful discussion so far. I think since Jimmy is from Sabah, we're from Penang. We have talked about the goods and sort of the bad, the part of Malaysia problems that we're facing, the good uniting stuff that we can have, especially economy. So, what do you think? What do you think Malaysia can do to go forward apart from the economy? And also, what is your dream of Malaysia in maybe 20 years' time? What kind of Malaysia do you hope to see?
I think we're on the right track. The last 12 or 15 months, the current government of the day is on the right track, and we hope that they are allowed to fulfill their term of office, given a mandate. And I'm looking forward to, as I said earlier, the institutional reforms they promise, and looking forward to all the economic measures that they're taking. So far, so good. It's shown positive signs in terms of foreign FDI, foreign direct investments. It shows positive signs in terms of our currency. Of course, vis-a-vis this got to do with the impending Federal Reserve move to adjust their rates, right? Other than that, it looks like we are on the right track, and hopefully they are given the leeway to fulfill the full mandate to carry on what they're doing, And the other thing I also mentioned just now is that what do I see in Malaysia in moving forward will be, I hope that that we can take a cue from what Sarawak state government is doing, and then hopefully we can bring Malaysia back on the right track, the right trajectory, and with very minimum emphasis on the 3 R's and all those unnecessary distraction, so that we can move ourselves, because we are really gone back. All the nations in Southeast Asia has gone forward, and we have really stepped back, and it's about time to catch up, right? That's my comment. I like to remain positive. I like to look at the positive side of things. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and so far so good. I mean, you asked me 2 years, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, it looks very gloomy. But you ask me now, I think we're on the right trajectory. But the most important thing, I think, is the bread and butter issues, the controlling the cost of living would be definitely a major concern that we need to put food on the table, and then from there we can move on really. All other visions does not make sense and does not sing with the people if we do not address the cost of living and putting food on the table, which is most important. That's my 2 cents. Over to you guys. Thanks.
From my side, I have I think Malaysia is in a very good position, sir. And first of all, I'm very proud that Malaysians we have a very strong diversity, and this diversity actually draw a very good strength, a lot of strength, not just in a slogan way and more idealistic way, but in the real economy as well. And now we have a strong, big community of Chinese, no, China economy is on the rise, and Indian community is also on the rise. Might take over China in a few decades, and most of us speaks Malay, and then the Indonesia, which is Indonesia economy is rising, and will be and if not, it is the biggest economy in ASEAN, and there's a lot of potential to grow. And Malay, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East countries, like the countries like Doha and Saudi Arabia are opening up, become more progressive, especially under the new prince. So if we can utilize all this, and now we really have a unique stand. We're gonna just gonna keep on growing then, because we managed to can attract all these investors. Because then not forgot we have a colonial history with the West, so we still have a lot of Western investors. So if the government can put the cuts right, we're gonna continue to have a lot of FDI coming in then. And and so far those expats are living here they feel happy to stay in Malaysia, and they feel comfortable. Yeah, I think by another few decades time, I think Malaysia going to be quite well, again, provided all the reformations and as long as our politician can put things together, play the cards right, then I think Malaysia should be on the spotlight in a few decades.
Yeah, I think very, very good point. I think, Jimmy, here, I think you brought a very global, that we are very well positioned. Totally agree with you. We have the cards in our hands, guys. If Malaysians are listening to this, we have the cards in our hands. If we can unite, look beyond our differences, look beyond trying to be fighting for our own rights only instead of the whole country's rights, I think we can really benefit. Because I like the point you said about that all the developing, the biggest economies in the world, right? We speak all their languages. Most of our Malaysians, one or another, speak it. For example, Arabic. A lot of our Muslim friends in Malaysia, they know Arabic because of the religious studies and all. So they can tackle the Middle East and the Arabic world. Mandarin, China, we speak Mandarin. Not only all Chinese, but now more and more non-Chinese are speaking Mandarin. Perfect. We have China to tackle. India, we have Tamil speaking, huge Tamil speaking community in Malaysia. So in Indonesia, we also have BM that they can understand, we can converse with them. So we are poised to benefit from these 4 big economies of the world. And I think it's a perfect cards in our hands if we can look at. I love that point, Jimmy. Great point. In fact, to add on to that, the fact that you're in Sabah and Sarawak, and new capital of Jakarta is going to move over to Kalimantan, that area, right? So all the cards, 5 cards in the hands. That's a great point. Yeah. All right, good.
Yeah. I just watched Kerry giving a speech in Utah. He pointed out a very, very interesting point when he was a health minister. He said, instead of like what you say, diversity is our strength. When he was a health minister, a lot of all those giant pharmaceutical like to do their clinical tests in Malaysia because we have different races. So they, what they call it, clinical testing. So they can have the a big group of guinea pig to test. So to say, so that's why he said we should concentrate the strength of our diversity instead of our weakness. Yeah. So my dream for 2050, let's say to 26 years from now, is because I believe Malaysians are very smart people. There are a lot of smart Malaysians Sadly, all over the world, not in Malaysia itself. So I hope by 2050, all the smart Malaysians will come back, and all our smart Malaysians, after studying or working abroad, can come back and contribute to the country. That's my dream. Even though I won't be around 80, maybe. That's all.
The huge Malaysian diaspora all over the world, that's the sixth card, I think, the sixth ace that we have in our pockets if Malaysia manages to attract them to go back to Malaysia or contribute to Malaysia from overseas in one way or another. So I think that's the sixth card. But I think regarding this, right, there seems to be, I mean, if you look at media and everything, maybe there's a negative side, not the whole picture. Like, I know Malaysia has been having talent corp and everything. Even I was mentioning during our previous podcast, maybe, I'm not sure whether it was, but even in UK, in London, we've had big companies like KPJ, Sunway, and all that coming to London to meet all the junior to senior doctors, trying to recruit people to bring back because they show us the plan of where they're expanding to in Malaysia. So there are a lot of efforts, I think, from the government and also the private sector who's trying to bring back the workforce from overseas back to Malaysia after they've been trained and they learn the best part of the overseas and take the good parts and bring it back to Malaysia. So we have that card in our hands, but also there's a group of community that always says bad things and always like lah, kalau nak keluar Malaysia, keluar lah. If you want to go back to Malaysia, di lah, so those community, we should turn the deaf ear to them because they are not constructive. They are just giving nonsense, non-productive criticism to people who leave. Because a lot of people say, just leave lah, Malaysia doesn't need you. That's the wrong attitude. In fact, they should go down and say, you know what, why are people leaving? And then how do we tackle those problems, bring them back? So I think that would be a nice 20-year, 30-year vision that I think Malaysia should have. In terms of, I think, for me, my dream for Malaysia, apart from that I think the good point for Mom is the brain drain, reverse it, bring it back from Singapore, everywhere, to bring back. That's number one. Number two is, I think, education. I think that let's be real, right? A lot of people has lost faith in the Malaysian national school curriculum. So that's the majority sentiment. I think education is the key moving forward. I don't know how the government can do it, but they need to figure out, because they are, after all, elected representatives, that I want the education system that we can be proud of, something like Singapore's education system, where internationally, that if you were educated in a Singaporean national school system, people say, oh wow, people know lah, you have substance, instead of like I don't know whether you're good and everything. I don't think that our education is that bad. The fact that all of us are doing pretty well in our lives, I wouldn't say it's that bad, but it's not we are not catching up fast enough with what the global arena is, like Vietnam and everything that are teaching their students. So education needs to be, I hope that in 20 years, that our education can be revamped and that we can be proud of our national schools in the international stage somehow. That's one. And secondly, obviously, I think we can't run away from having a common national narrative where somehow I hope that our population can mature through 20 or 30 years and start seeing ourselves as Malaysians instead of having all these different race in our forms and all that kind of stuff, which is, I think, separating us, but we have common narrative. So these two things, I think, if done well, Malaysia in 20 years, I see a reverse brain drain and some education system we can be proud of. So
one thing you say just now, I want to add in. I
Mm.
hate the part, even though I'm not from East Malaysia, I really hate the part in the form where they put Malay, Chinese, Indian, and line. If I were from East Malaysia, I also will be pissed off if I put my tick the line box. What is line? What do you mean by line? Ayo, that part really, they must solve that problem.
Yeah, that's why I think it's the narrative that the government needs to paint, that I mean, honestly, the ethnicity, right, apart from medical or scientific stuff, I don't know lah, for statistics lah. I don't know, like religion, everything, I think it's all very personal, but I don't think it should be lah. But anyhow, that's a different discussion lah. Right? That is our vision.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we are.
Yeah, Jimmy, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Jimmy
I agree with Koo. Yeah, I agree with Koo. I think we're on the right path. I mean, it definitely gonna happen because ASEAN, Southeast Asia is going to be the eventually we're going to be the global economy driver because China is having aging population already. They cannot replenish. Same thing with yeah, US will be overburdened by that. I think same like Europe as well. They have aging populations and yeah, and India might also they potential to grow, but there's only a certain limit. I think Southeast Asia together ASEAN will be the it's
Big block.
it's confirmed by the economists that will be a global driver, economic driver, a decade or two time. So by then, naturally, all the talents people will coming back to their Southeast Asia country to develop to benefit from it. And yeah, education wise, I'm just more, but I really agree with Khoo, which is how should we revamp the educations? Yeah, we always want to say to catch up, Singapore standard, but we also have to ask ourselves: is Singapore standard still in line? Because yes, that I think that is Singapore. You can use Singapore standard as the best standard, the A levels and O levels. That before AI, but now with the impact of AI, is that are they still? I recently read a report saying that sorry to say this, but the AI going to replace a lot of professional work then.
Yeah.
From lawyers, auditors, tax, even doctors as well. They can give pre-screening things like that and things like that. Now, probably if the robotics getting fancy enough, it can do the surgical as well then, remote surgery then. So what's the meaning? What's the value of your certificates? Of the profession, the knowledge.
Yeah.
If everything if the AI can do it for you or anything I want to know, I can just get it from AI. So they are saying that the last few decades, the science stream students are it's more favorable, but now maybe the nowadays maybe the art stream students are more favorable because you have to find a skill or talents that you cannot be replaced by AI and computer then. So then you are talking about the soft skill then, the communication skill, the personal skill, the personal skills and maybe teamwork and maybe spiritual as well then. So that would be more uh yeah uh yeah that's the soft skill wouldn't be
And then
replaceable.
we see a trend
Humanity
also. And then also we see
go
a
ahead.
trend that a lot of youngsters nowadays, they feel like there's no point investing so much money going for a degree, right? For a 4-year degree, when they can come out early after high school, just go and drive Grab and do some delivery and they can earn money. I feel that that's also a dangerous trend. Yeah, you can earn money now, but then if AI is coming in, automated drivers are coming in later, you're gonna lose job, man. All these kind of jobs, we have to quickly upskill even our professional line cannot survive the next few decades. What more, even more easily replaceable jobs like that, food delivery and all that. We need to move out from that, I think.
Yeah, so that's I don't think any governments in the world are ready for this changes. Even Elon Musk himself himself, are we moving a bit too fast? Even he got freaked out by the development of AI. And I also read for some papers that in a few years time now for lecturers to mark the thesis, they still can identify which part is written by AI if students submit the thesis in AI then. But maybe in a few years time they cannot the lecturers in university they cannot differentiate which one is genuinely written by students or which one is written by AI then. So and AI can also come up with that means they can write novels which you cannot differentiate whether it's written by human or written by AI then what's the value of education then? So that is a very big impact. No, by the time you graduate, maybe the, the what you learn in the line of industry might be gone then.
Yeah. That's definitely agreed. So
So yeah, it's a yeah. If you want, I'm not so concerned about our religious issues and Malaysia's our difference the extremists I'm more concerned on like if this AI thing if the AI thing is going to be taking over every perspective of life. How to how what so how do you evaluate? How do you put the value on on, on a person then?
I think
Yeah. So
I personally worry for both because I feel like when you mix religion in administration and you mix um certain religious extremism and polarization of society, that's when you distract the eye is not on the proper ball. You're
yeah, correct.
right? You're focusing on certain things. Yeah, sure. I mean, personally, everyone should have the right to practice their religion, but if the government and the population's focus is on the wrong ball, like if you want to go into conservatism, you want to go into factions and polarization based on religion and race, you're missing the point, man. You are missing the point. In 10 years or less, you will be seeing the consequences and our country will suffer because of that. So Malaysians, I really urge you, if you're listening, wake up. Don't fall into the trap of division. Have a common narrative, fight towards the common goal of facing these challenges that are abound ahead of us, instead of fighting for your own tiny community's rights and everything. Stop being so narrow vision. Open your eyes, open your angle up. We are competing with the rest of the world and we're competing against technology that we don't even know how to handle. So stop being so narrow-minded, like basically open your eyes a bit, lah, huh?
Yeah, agree. Totally agree.
Yep, summing up. Is that a summary of our discussion today on Hari Malaysia? Mom, Dad, Jimmy, that's it.
Yeah, for me to sum up, I think differences can divide us, but no, it is also because our differences, which is a strength of our country. Yeah, we should play to the strength of our differences, not to divide it, but to exploit, to not to utilize it well
Yes.
our differences
Yes.
to
And,
enhance our country
and
as a whole. Yeah.
and to end, I also want to say that I mean I know four of us here are all ethnically Chinese, but I must say I'm pretty sure I say it on behalf of all of us that we don't see ourselves as Chinese first. We always see ourselves as Malaysian. So let there be no doubt to all the listeners that no, we are not an insular society within a country that only looks at our own ethnicity. No, we look at ourselves as Malaysians. If Malaysia falls, we fall, we suffer. Right? So if Malaysia grows, we grow too. So stop giving in to the narratives of those who are trying to divide us into us versus them. Us versus them. Stop giving in to those people. Wake up and look at everything as us, right? Stop giving in to them. So that would be the greatest thing I think all of us can give Malaysia on Malaysia Day this year onwards.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
rightly said.
Very safe. Yeah.
And yes, I might be overseas in the country, but I'm not no less patriotic. I love Malaysia. I've always been a Malaysian, and I always be a Malaysian at heart. And though I am from Penang, I love Penang and proud of Penang's food. But Penang has problems with traffic jam and all that. But I've stayed in Sabah, and Sabah also has a very special place in my heart. Because Sabah, if you have worked there, if you have lived there, I know the stereotypical thing, that popular thing people like to say, which is true, is that Sabah is always, which I say also, that Sabah is somewhere, East Malaysia is somewhere Malaysia should have been and could have been culturally and narrative wise, where there's less racism, less religious intolerance and all that. Kopitiam, you can see everyone. The typical what people always say about Sabah Sarawak is very true. I've lived that, and sometimes it's also very hard to tell racially and ethnicity because it's so mixed already in Sabah and so heterogeneous. So that is also a good thing, and I think that we could learn from that. And and Sabah, yeah, always has a special place in my heart because people are very humble, people are very nice, not less antagonistic. less like, adversarial. You are my adversary. Wow, we'll compete again. No, it's just together, man, right? And it's a very humble place. It taught me a lot of humility. I saw the hardcore poverty. And I really hope that Malaysians, especially, we don't look at ourselves as West and East Malaysians, but start looking at ourselves as part of a federation together. And that we need to help our brothers, sisters in Sabah and Sarawak. Because Jimmy, uh, who is very active, he's a leader in his community. He always organizes a lot of humanitarian work, into which I've had a fortune of actually joining him with Denise into Pitas, which is a very bad, impoverished state, and I saw how bad it can be. So I hope all of that can be sorted out and help. It can be sent to wherever is needed, and I really think that is a good conclusion for our Malaysia Day. Wishes for our country.
Yeah, thank you very much, Koo, for inviting me. I think again, always adore your time when you're here. Hopefully, we can meet up soon, and either in UK or in Malaysia.
We should keep in touch, and thanks a lot, Jimmy. And if you're open to it, one day we'll also invite you back to our podcast if you're open to it to discuss about other topics, spiritual journey and whatnot. Yeah. Selamat Hari Malaysia.
Yeah.
Selamat Hari Malaysia. Thanks, Jimmy. We really appreciate your perspective. Great. It was a good podcast. Thank you very much.
Malaysia Maju Jaya.
Maju Jaya.
Yeah, Malaysia Maju Jaya. Selamat Hari Malaysia.